The vast darkness of space stretched endlessly around the research vessel's celestial horizon, its sleek metallic hull cutting through the infinite void like a silver knife. Captain Kara Voss stood motionless on the bridge, her pale fingers dancing across holographic displays that flickered with complex data streams. Diane Recal, her trusted research specialist, noticed the subtle change in her posture, a slight tension that spoke volumes about something extraordinary. The ship's sensors had picked up something unusual, a whisper of technology that didn't belong in this remote corner of the galaxy. Electromagnetic signature confirmed, the ship's computational system announced in a neutral tone. Origin, uncharted planetary system. Anomaly detected. Kara's eyes narrowed. The planet on the main screen looked dead, a scorched, lifeless rock that seemed to have been abandoned by whatever cosmic forces had once shaped it. Decades of intense solar radiation had stripped away any potential for life, leaving behind a desolate landscape of cracked stone and metallic dust. But something was different. Beneath the surface, hidden from casual observation, a faint pulse of energy continued to beat. It was weak but unmistakable, a technological heartbeat that suggested something impossible. "Run the analysis again," Kara commanded, her voice calm but intense. Diane's fingers moved rapidly across the interface, rechecking every single data point. Quantum algorithms sifted through layers of information, comparing the signature against millions of known planetary and technological profiles. "It's human," he said finally, a note of disbelief coloring his words. The implications were staggering. No human colony was known to exist in this sector. No expedition records suggested any mission had ever been sent to this distant, inhospitable world. Yet the electromagnetic signature was distinct, a complex pattern of communication and energy distribution that could only have been created by human technology. Kara zoomed the holographic display, revealing microscopic details of the planet's surface. What appeared to be random geological formations began to show hints of structured design. Subtle geometric patterns emerged, too precise to be natural, too complex to be random. A hidden colony? Diane wondered aloud, more to himself than to Kara. The ship's sensors continued probing, each scan revealing more questions than answers. The technological signature suggested advanced infrastructure, far beyond what would be expected from a simple survival settlement. Whatever was down there had not just survived, it had adapted, evolved. Kira's mind raced with possibilities. Forgotten expeditions. Secret missions. Technological experiments that might have been deliberately hidden from galactic records. The discovery could rewrite everything known about human expansion into deep space. "Prepare a reconnaissance probe," she instructed Diane. "We need detailed surface mapping before any direct approach." The probe launched silently, a small metallic dart against the planet's harsh terrain. Its advanced sensors began mapping the surface, penetrating layers of rock and radiation, searching for the source of that persistent technological pulse. Something was waiting down there. Something that had survived against impossible odds. A testament to human resilience, hidden in the most unlikely of places. As the probe descended, Kara watched with a mixture of scientific curiosity and unexplained anticipation. This was more than just another research mission. This was a potential revelation that could change everything humanity understood about its own capacity for survival. The faint technological heartbeat continued, patient and persistent, a silent invitation to uncover a story that had remained untold for decades. The reconnaissance probe sensors pierced through layers of rock, revealing an underground complex that defied all expectations. Hidden beneath the planet's barren surface, a network of tunnels and chambers stretched out like the intricate veins of a hidden organism. Jae-wook Park's holographic log materialized, his tired but determined face flickering with the quality of an old recording. His eyes told a story of survival that went far beyond simple human endurance. When the original terraforming mission began to fail, the colonists faced a choice: surrender or adapt. They chose adaptation. The first challenge was the planet itself, a world so hostile that conventional survival seemed impossible. Extreme radiation. Minimal resources. Temperature variations that could kill within minutes. But these colonists were not ordinary settlers. They were pioneers of human potential. Genetic modifications became their first line of defense. Using advanced biotechnology, they rewrote their own biological blueprints. Radiation-resistant cellular structures. Enhanced metabolic processes that could extract nutrition from the most minimal resources. Skin that could regulate temperature with unprecedented efficiency. Dr. Hygiene Kim, the colony's lead geneticist, had been the primary architect of these transformations. Her research logs showed a systematic approach to human evolution. Each modification was carefully tested, each genetic adjustment precisely calculated. They weren't just changing themselves, they were creating a new version of humanity designed to survive the impossible. Nano-architectural reconstruction followed. Tiny machines integrated into their biological systems, constantly repairing cellular damage, reinforcing internal structures, and maintaining optimal physiological conditions. These nanobots were more than medical technology, they were a living shield against the planet's harsh environment. The underground complex itself was a marvel of engineering. Carved directly into the planet's rocky core, it was designed to be completely self-sustaining. Energy systems that could generate power from minimal thermal differences. Water reclamation systems that recycled every single drop with near-perfect efficiency. Hydroponics chambers that could grow food in conditions that would kill most plant life. Communication became their next critical challenge. Traditional radio and digital networks were useless in this environment. So they developed quantum communication networks that could transmit information through the very biological structures of their bodies. Thoughts, data, warnings, all could be shared instantaneously, embedded within their modified cellular structures. Jaewook's final log entry was particularly haunting. "We are no longer just colonists," he had said, his voice calm and resolute. "We are the next step in human evolution. Our survival is not just about ourselves, it's about proving what humanity can become." The probe continued its exploration, each scan revealing more layers of their incredible adaptation. Living spaces that could reconfigure themselves based on environmental needs. Emergency systems that could seal and protect entire sections of the complex within milliseconds. Medical facilities that could perform complex genetic repairs and modifications on the spot. This was more than a survival colony. This was a living laboratory of human potential. A testament to the species' ability to face the most extreme challenges and not just survive, but fundamentally transform. As the holographic logs continued to play, it became clear that these colonists had made a deliberate choice. They weren't waiting to be rescued. They weren't hoping for outside intervention. They were creating their own future, one genetic modification and technological innovation at a time. The planet that had seemed like a death sentence had become their forge. Their crucible. Their opportunity to redefine what it meant to be human. And they had succeeded beyond anything anyone could have imagined. The probe's sensors continued to map the complex, each discovery more incredible than the last. A hidden civilization. A radical experiment in human survival. A story waiting to be told. Dr. Hygiene Kim's research archive opened like a treasure chest of human innovation. Every digital document revealed layers of technological miracles that seemed to defy the known laws of science. The self-sustaining ecosystem was her most remarkable achievement. Imagine a biological system so resilient that it could regenerate from nothing more than microscopic fragments. Where other scientists saw destruction, Kim saw potential reconstruction. Her engineered plant and microbial networks could rebuild entire agricultural zones from mere cellular traces. One particular experiment stood out. During a massive radiation event that would have killed conventional life forms, these engineered organisms not only survived but thrived. They absorbed harmful radiation, converted it into usable energy, and continued growing. It was like watching life itself adapt in real time. The communication systems were equally extraordinary. Traditional radio waves and digital transmission became obsolete. Instead, the colonists developed quantum entanglement communication, a method that allowed instantaneous data transfer across impossible distances. Information could move faster than light, encoded within subatomic particles that remained connected regardless of physical separation. Environmental shields represented another breakthrough. These weren't simple protective barriers but living, adaptive systems that could modify themselves based on external threats. Radiation? The shield would reconfigure its molecular structure. Extreme temperature? It would redistribute thermal energy. Potential chemical contamination? The shield would neutralize harmful particles before they could cause damage. What made these technologies truly remarkable was their organic nature. They weren't just machines or tools, they were living, thinking systems that could learn and adapt. Each technological solution was essentially a living organism designed to solve specific survival challenges. The colonists had transformed technology from a static tool into a dynamic, responsive entity. Their innovations blurred the lines between biological life and technological systems. Where traditional science saw boundaries, they saw opportunities for integration and evolution. Dr. Kim's personal logs revealed the human side of these extraordinary developments. She wasn't just a cold, calculating scientist. Her research was driven by a deep commitment to human survival. Each breakthrough was a personal victory against the seemingly impossible conditions of their harsh planetary environment. "We are not just surviving," one of her recordings stated. "We are demonstrating the true potential of human creativity and adaptability." The quantum communication network was perhaps the most mind-bending innovation. Imagine a system where thoughts could be transmitted almost like electrical signals, where collective knowledge could be shared instantaneously. Information didn't just move, it merged, creating a kind of collective intelligence that was more than the sum of individual minds. Adaptive environmental technology meant the colonists could literally reshape their immediate environment. Damaged infrastructure? The nanobots would rebuild. Oxygen levels dropping? Engineered microorganisms would immediately start producing more. Water scarcity? Molecular reconstruction would extract and purify resources from the most minimal sources. What the alien research team would eventually discover was not just a colony, but a living laboratory of human potential. These weren't just technological innovations, they were a reimagining of what technology could be. The most profound aspect was the philosophical approach behind these developments. The colonists saw technology not as something separate from life, but as an extension of life itself. Each innovation was a conversation between human creativity and the fundamental laws of nature. As the research logs continued to unfold, one thing became crystal clear: this was more than a survival story. This was a glimpse into humanity's potential future, a future where adaptation, creativity, and resilience were not just survival strategies, but the very essence of human existence. The technology wasn't just advanced. It was revolutionary. And it was about to change everything. In the depths of their underground complex, the colony had created a society unlike anything seen before. Traditional hierarchies dissolved, replaced by a radical approach to human organization that emphasized collective survival and universal capability. From the moment children could understand complex concepts, they were trained in multiple disciplines. A child might spend mornings learning advanced genetic engineering, afternoons practicing environmental reconstruction techniques, and evenings studying quantum communication systems. Specialization was considered a weakness, adaptability was the ultimate strength. The community's educational system was ruthlessly efficient. No knowledge was considered unnecessary. Every skill, from medical procedures to mechanical engineering, was taught to everyone. A hydroponics expert would also be trained in advanced mathematics. A communication specialist would understand molecular biology. Boundaries between professional disciplines simply did not exist. Their philosophical core was simple yet profound: survival was a collective responsibility. Individual achievements meant nothing if they did not contribute to the entire community's resilience. Personal ego was systematically deconstructed, replaced with a deep understanding that each person was a critical component of their shared survival mechanism. Decision-making happened through sophisticated consensus algorithms. Complex challenges were broken down, analyzed from multiple perspectives, and solutions were developed collectively. No single person held absolute authority. Instead, the best ideas rose to the top through rigorous collaborative analysis. Leadership was not a position of power, but a temporary role of coordination. Leaders were selected based on their demonstrated problem-solving abilities and their capacity to facilitate group understanding. They could be replaced instantly if they failed to serve the community's immediate needs. Conflict resolution was equally innovative. Instead of punitive systems, they developed psychological and collaborative techniques that transformed potential conflicts into opportunities for collective growth. Disagreements were seen as chances to develop more comprehensive understanding. Every colonist maintained a baseline of physical and mental fitness that would be considered extraordinary by external standards. Daily routines included physical training, mental challenges, and continuous skill updates. Rest was strategic, designed to maximize human potential rather than simply recover from exhaustion. Their reproductive strategies were equally calculated. Genetic diversity was maintained through carefully managed reproduction programs. Every child was a result of deliberate genetic selection, designed to introduce new capabilities that would enhance the colony's overall survival potential. The most striking aspect was their approach to individual identity. Personal identity was not erased but was understood as a flexible, evolving construct that served the larger community. Individual differences were celebrated, but always within the context of collective benefit. Spiritual and philosophical practices were deeply integrated with scientific understanding. Meditation techniques were scientifically designed to enhance cognitive flexibility. Philosophical discussions were rigorous analytical processes that merged emotional intelligence with logical reasoning. Their cultural artifacts reflected this holistic approach. Art was not just aesthetic expression but a method of processing complex scientific and philosophical concepts. Music was a mathematical exploration of sound and emotional resonance. Every cultural practice had a deeper, functional purpose. When challenges arose, whether environmental threats, technological failures, or potential resource limitations, the entire community would transform into a unified problem-solving organism. Individual skills would merge, creating collective intelligence that was exponentially more powerful than traditional collaborative methods. The alien research team, as they uncovered these cultural records, would find themselves confronting a profound reimagining of human potential. This was not just a survival colony. This was a living experiment in human evolution, a demonstration of what could happen when a community completely reimagined its relationship with survival, knowledge, and collective identity. Every colonist was indeed a scientist. Every scientist was a survivor. But more importantly, they were something entirely new, a glimpse of humanity's most extraordinary potential. The alien research team stood in stunned silence as the full scope of human achievement unfolded before them. What had begun as a routine exploration had transformed into something far more profound, a complete reconstruction of their understanding of human capabilities. Captain Kara Voss moved slowly through the holographic data streams, her normally composed demeanor replaced by a mix of wonder and growing unease. Each layer of information revealed another extraordinary aspect of the colony's survival and innovation. Diane Riquel, her research specialist, began compiling comparative analysis reports. The numbers were impossible to ignore. This colony had not just survived, they had fundamentally reimagined the concept of survival. Their technological and biological adaptations challenged everything the alien Confederation understood about species development. The quantum communication networks they had developed were centuries beyond current galactic technology. Their genetic modifications represented a level of biological engineering that seemed more like science fiction than scientific reality. The way they had transformed an essentially uninhabitable planet into a living, breathing ecosystem defied conventional scientific understanding. More than their technological achievements, it was the colony's philosophical approach that truly challenged the alien researchers. This wasn't a story of desperate survival, but a deliberate, calculated evolution of human potential. Every challenge had been met not with fear, but with creative problem-solving and an unbreakable spirit of collective innovation. They didn't just adapt, Kira muttered, her fingers tracing the holographic data, they transformed themselves fundamentally. The research team discovered evidence suggesting this might not be an isolated incident. Subtle data markers hinted at the possibility of similar hidden colonies, human outposts that had been developing independently, pushing the boundaries of what was considered possible. Each piece of recovered technology told a story of extraordinary human resilience. Communication systems that could transmit information through quantum entanglement. Biological modifications that allowed survival in conditions that would kill most known life forms. Ecological reconstruction technologies that could rebuild entire ecosystems from microscopic fragments. Diane's computational analysis revealed something even more startling. The colony's technological development wasn't linear, it was exponential. Each innovation built upon previous discoveries with a speed and efficiency that seemed almost organic. They weren't just solving problems, they were continuously reimagining the very concept of problem solving. The alien team realized they were looking at more than a scientific discovery. This was a fundamental challenge to their understanding of technological and biological evolution. Humans were not just another species to be categorized and studied. They were a dynamic, adaptive force that could transform entire planetary ecosystems. As the final data streams were processed, Kira made a chilling realization. This colony was almost certainly not unique. Somewhere in the vast darkness of space, other human colonies were likely developing, evolving, pushing boundaries in ways that could completely reshape galactic understanding. The implications were enormous. If one colony could achieve this level of innovation, what might others be capable of? The human potential seemed limitless, a constantly adapting, endlessly creative force that could not be confined or controlled. Humanity was not just a species to be observed. They were a transformative power waiting to be understood. The research team stood in silence, the weight of this revelation hanging in the air. Everything they thought they knew about human beings had just been fundamentally challenged. This was more than a discovery. This was a revolution.